Behind every great ruler is a hidden guide, but what happens when that guide was once a slave? Dive into the inspiring bond between Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, the true master of freedom. One of the most extraordinary partnerships in all of human history is the relationship between Marcus Aurelius, the powerful Roman emperor, and his favorite philosopher, a former slave named Epictetus. It's a pairing almost as striking as the time Abraham Lincoln invited Frederick Douglass to dine at the White House. But how exactly did Marcus Aurelius come to know Epictetus? The answer is surprisingly simple, and it's a path many of us have followed in the centuries since. Marcus Aurelius openly credits his beloved teacher, Rusticus, with this introduction. He thanks Rusticus for teaching him to read with deep attention, not just skimming the surface but truly engaging with the text. More importantly, Marcus acknowledges Rusticus for introducing him to the lectures of Epictetus and even lending him his personal copy of these writings. Nearly 2,000 years ago, Rusticus urged, "You've got to check out this philosopher, Epictetus." It's even possible that Rusticus himself studied under Epictetus. You see, Epictetus had been banished from Rome along with other philosophers about a generation earlier. He then established himself as an influential teacher and thinker outside the political heart of the empire, and that's how he reached the ears of the philosopher king, Marcus Aurelius. Epictetus lived during the time of Seneca and would have witnessed Nero's administration from a very different vantage point. This perspective gave us powerful lessons. Despite being a slave, Epictetus lacked control over his own body, his income, and his freedom. Yet, as he observed Nero's court, he saw wealthy, ambitious men, consumed by fear, scheming endlessly, and addicted to pleasure. In many ways, he realized he was freer than they were. One vivid example. Epictetus noticed a man groveling to Nero's cobbler, flattering the man who made the emperor's sandals in a desperate bid for favor. Epictetus understood that this man was the true slave, and in a broader sense, so was everyone caught in servitude to their desires. He famously said, "You make yourself a slave to slaves." Epictetus offered a profound definition of freedom. For him, freedom wasn't about legal status or social rank. It was about how much control you had over your own urges, choices, and actions within the limits of your reality. Surprisingly, the emperor himself might have been less free than this former slave. He recognized that anyone tossed about by their emotions, fears, anxieties, desires, or ambitions is not truly free. This concept, the idea that some things are within our control and others are not, is the core of Stoic philosophy, known as the dichotomy of control, and it originates with Epictetus. In fact, the well-known Serenity Prayer traces its roots back to this remarkable Greek slave. Eventually, Epictetus earned his freedom and became a celebrated teacher of philosophy. His own mentor was Musonius Rufus, a great Stoic who also endured hardship, having been exiled 4 times. From Epictetus, we inherit the vision of Stoicism as a philosophy of resilience, the ability to face whatever life throws at you and say, "This is exactly what I trained for." He urged his students to see life's obstacles and hardships not as setbacks, but as training sessions designed to make them stronger. When confronted with adversity or when things don't go as planned, Epictetus advised saying to yourself, "Life has given me a worthy sparring partner. This is how I become Olympic-class material." Epictetus truly embodied this teaching. He became Olympic-class through enduring not only slavery but brutal torture, which left him walking with a limp for the rest of his life. He faced pain, difficulty, loss, and injustice head-on, and yet, What emerges from his writings and teachings is a man unshaken by these trials. Though bowed and physically impaired, his spirit remained unbroken, a testament to inner strength that no external force could touch. This is precisely why Admiral James Stockdale, who endured 7 grueling years as a prisoner of war at the notorious Hanoi Hilton during the Vietnam War, found such profound resonance in the writings of Epictetus. Those teachings didn't just comfort him, they became a guiding light, helping him and his fellow prisoners navigate one of the most harrowing chapters in human endurance. From Epictetus, we learn essential lessons on facing adversity, overcoming obstacles, and meeting difficulty head-on. Most importantly, we learn to focus intently on what's within our control, and to make the very best of whatever situation life places us in. But Stoicism, as Epictetus taught, is far more than just theory or idle talk. Philosophy isn't meant to be something you simply discuss or read about, it's something you embody. Something you live. He famously said, "Don't talk about your philosophy, embody it." He compared it to a weightlifter, who doesn't just show off their muscles but demonstrates their true strength by what they can lift. For Epictetus, Stoicism was a practical tool, one that empowers you to lift heavier burdens, to endure more, to grow stronger, more skilled, and more capable in life's challenges. He described life as a game, and us as athletes. We don't label every throw as good or bad, instead, we catch and return it. Every challenge, every situation is like a ball in this game, catchable, manageable, and ready to be thrown back with intention. But Epictetus didn't just preach this philosophy, he lived it, in ways that few others ever have. That's why his teachings struck such a deep chord with Marcus Aurelius. Though they came from completely different social backgrounds, Marcus, the emperor, and Epictetus, a former slave, they both faced circumstances they never chose. Each carried heavy burdens, Marcus with immense power and responsibility, Epictetus with brutal adversity and hardship. Yet, both men saw their burdens not as chains but as sparring partners, opportunities to rise, to grow, and to become great. This perspective is the heart of Stoicism. At its core, Epictetus's philosophy champions intellectual humility. You can almost imagine him standing before Rome's brightest youth, many of whom were arrogant, spoiled, and convinced of their own genius. He would challenge them sharply. You cannot learn what you think you already know. It doesn't matter how much you read. What truly matters is what you read and how deeply you engage with it. Don't just tell me you've read books. Show me how you've learned to think better. To grow wiser and stronger, you must be willing to look foolish, to stumble, and even to fail. The truth is, if you're not ready to admit what you don't know, to ask questions, or to struggle with new skills, you'll never truly improve. This ties directly into another vital teaching from Epictetus. When you are grounded in what truly matters, when you focus on what you control, the opinions of others lose their power over you. You stop searching for approval outside yourself. You don't worry about what your teacher thinks, or what your classmates say, or what society demands. You focus solely on yourself, your growth, and your own path. One thing Stoicism is definitely not about is pretending you don't have emotions or just stuffing them down. It's about actively facing your struggles head-on, with honesty and courage. For me, one of the ways I handle my own challenges is through therapy, and that's where today's sponsor, BetterHelp, comes in. BetterHelp is an online platform that makes connecting with licensed therapists easy, affordable, and convenient. Therapy is tough enough without having to worry about driving across town, finding parking, navigating insurance, or dealing with costly fees. Virtual therapy is how I do it. It's straightforward. I set aside one focused hour, and that hour is completely mine. BetterHelp ensures that every therapist on their platform is thoroughly qualified. Plus, they have a customer service team ready to help if you have any questions. If you're struggling and think therapy might be the right step for you, click the link in the description below or visit betterhelp.com/stoic to get 10% off your first month. Now, on the topic of Stoic philosophy, UD has this fantastic line that perfectly captures how we're meant to engage with Stoicism and what its writings truly offer. He says, "Every day and night, keep thoughts like these at hand. Write them, read them aloud, talk to yourself and others about them." This is exactly how we want to approach Stoic philosophy, especially the teachings of Epictetus, something you come back to repeatedly. Riff on, and weave into your life and your own way of thinking. If you've read Meditations, and by the way, I have another video on that, you'll notice Marcus Aurelius doing precisely this. Many of the quotes and exercises that have come down to us from Epictetus reach us through Marcus. Who knew Epictetus's work so well that he often quoted him from memory? One exercise Marcus learned from Epictetus and mentioned specifically in Meditations is striking. When you tuck your child in at night, say to yourself, "They may not make it till the morning." This isn't because Epictetus or Marcus Aurelius didn't care deeply for their children. Quite the opposite. They practiced the Stoic art of memento mori, the reminder that life is short and that death could come at any moment. They made a point of reminding themselves of this, especially when it came to their loved ones, because none of us can afford to take those precious moments for granted. What Marcus is essentially saying is, why rush through life? Why not be fully present right now? Through the adversities he endured, Marcus saw just how fragile life truly is. Epictetus, passing down this wisdom centuries earlier, gives us all a timeless reminder: never take a single minute for granted. Life can end at any moment, so live fully and intentionally, no matter what shape your life takes. That memento mori, the understanding that life is fleeting, is a powerful call to action. So, ask yourself, how much longer are you going to wait? Epictetus urged, demand the best of yourself. Fortunately, we have a record of his teachings thanks to a devoted student named Arian, who preserved these lessons in what we now know as the Discourses. There's also a shorter handbook version called the Enchiridion, which literally means a little handbook. The word carries a sense of a weapon or tool for self-defense, something you carry to protect yourself in life's battles. These teachings, passed from Epictetus to Rusticus, then to Marcus Aurelius, have survived centuries, and now, hopefully, they reach you. Someone introduced me to Epictetus when I was 20 years old. Today, I share his wisdom with you every single day. I send out a free Stoic-inspired email to nearly 1 million people around the world. If you want to take your own Stoic journey to the next level, I'd love for you to subscribe. It's completely free. You can unsubscribe anytime, and there's absolutely no spam. Just visit the Stoic Journey channel. I hope to see you there.